Hey y'all, the other day I got a text message from an amazing friend and surf pal who's a fantastic entrepreneur, and she was just so burned out and texted me and she said, I've got to go surfing tomorrow and you've got to come with me. And she knew that I was recovering from an injury. I'd had a broken rib and I hadn't been able to surf for the last 2 months. So this would have been my very first time to get out surfing again. I didn't reply to her text message. I ignored it. But I was driving, so I was on my way back from LA. This time I had driven to LA and I was in rush hour traffic and I would be in traffic for the next several hours. So I thought, well, I've got a really good excuse to ignore the text message. So as I was driving, about 30 minutes later, I got a call from a colleague in Texas. And the first words out of his mouth were, I am so sick of living in fear. And y'all, that's what this video is about. This video is about fear. And so he said, I'm so sick of living in fear. I'm sick of my decisions being dictated by fear. And like, we're not talking about minor decisions. We're talking about like life-altering decisions, things that he has to decide, like career decisions, where he lives, things like that. So these are big decisions. But he said that he noticed that a lot of things that he does in his life, they're dictated by fear. And he said that he's sick of living that way. And so we talked through it, and I told him that recently I'm a member of a Facebook surf group, a secret Facebook surf group of women. And one of the ladies in the group had asked the question, how do you deal with fear when you're paddling out to go surf? Like, how do you ladies deal with it? And I was surprised there were so many replies from the ladies talking about their fear of surfing and how they deal with it. And here's what surprised me so much, because I thought that I was the only one who is sometimes afraid when I paddle out. I'm not always, but sometimes I am, like if the surf is a little bit bigger than my ability can handle. And I was so surprised by these ladies and how candid they were in the fear that they feel. And some of the ladies are some who are amazing surfers, and I thought, I can't believe that they actually deal with this too. So I was telling him about this, and I said, they have different ways of dealing with it. They suck it up, they get out there, they ride those waves like badasses, and they're just amazing. And I told him an acronym that really helps me. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's false evidence appearing real. It's not real, it's fear. It's all in our heads. And so we talked through it. He said it was just so helpful. And so the next day, I did commit to my friend Janice. As soon as I got back to San Diego, we made plans to go surfing, and honestly, y'all, I was really scared. I was so scared to get in that cold water because I knew it would be freezing. The air was cold, the water was cold, but I paddled out. Within the first 5 minutes, I caught a great wave. I rode it all the way to shore. The girls all cheered for me, and it was so much fun. And I realized that my fear of getting in that cold water, of not being able to surf after 2 months, was false. And another acronym that I use a lot is face everything and rise. And I just want to encourage you, if you're approaching things and you're afraid of something, to think of those acronyms. Something else I told my colleague was, if you're setting goals and those goals aren't scaring you a little bit, if they're not scaring you just a little bit, your goals aren't high enough. You need to stretch. Those goals have to scare you just a little bit, or those goals aren't high enough. So think about that when you're setting your goals, especially for 2020 as the new year approaches. Set some high goals and don't be afraid to experience a little bit of fear. It's good for you, it stretches you, and it helps you grow. I hope this inspires you. I'm Marisa Vallbona. Live inspired.